Hi folks, it is currently 7:30ish in New York City. Here I am. I'm really exhausted. I don't know if I got sick again, but I started feeling like a tickle in my throat 2 days ago, and then as of yesterday and today, my energy levels are really low. So I did a rapid test. It came out negative. One, I don't know if rapid tests are picking up new variants anymore. Two, it could just be me feeling not great. Three, I could be sick. But whatever the case may be, body is not feeling great. But I really wanted to go live today because I've had these chicken bones in my freezer for a while, and I would like to have some chicken broth on hand for cooking over the next couple of weeks. And it's telling me I have to do vertical. Is that right? Are we vertical now? What does my stream look like? Can I do this? Can you see me still? Oh my lord. What is going on? Whatever. It's telling me that my orientation is locked and that I have to rotate my device back, but this looks good to me. My phone screen looks funny. Whatever. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. I'm just talking to a phone. I feel insane. The world is insane. Everything makes no sense. Our aid package drops are killing people. I'm so angry and I'm so frustrated and I feel like we're all going crazy. And I don't know what to do, and I just keep living, and there's so much guilt, and there's so much pain, and there's so much anger. So we're gonna make chicken stock. I bought this huge bag of discounted ginger, and I want to make ginger chicken broth today. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna process all the ginger. I'm gonna make chicken stock. Maybe we'll roast some cashews and do other stuff, but I don't know what I'm capable of doing, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. It just feels silly. All of this feels so silly. Turning on the heat. We're going to be cleaning some ginger up. They're not great ginger, but we're going to use them, and we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to compost what doesn't make it, and I might eat some stuff for dinner, some leftovers, some greens. I'm going to do my best, I guess, because what else is there to do? This is going to be a really spicy chicken broth. I'm going to keep the ginger pretty big, but I'm going to smash them. So you've been warned, smash. Wow, that was too much of a smash. Maybe a little less smash. I don't know about anyone else, but I can't think beyond a week out anymore. I thought I made progress where I was able to think a month out after mom died, but now we're back to a week out. I can't think beyond a week now. Nothing feels real beyond a week. Sometimes even within the week, nothing feels real. I was polling people about how they were feeling on Instagram, how they're coping. Some people are really not doing well. I had a response saying somebody was basically calling the hotline. I'm assuming it's a suicide hotline. And even that call didn't make them feel better. And it's just like, this is rough, y'all. I think people are actually having mental breakdowns now, even if they don't have family in Palestine. It is affecting all of us, even if it doesn't feel like it's affecting all of us. Just like COVID, just like global warming, just like all of these things that we don't think are affecting us, they all are. My dad just sent me an article about how if you boil water for 5 minutes, you can get rid of the microplastics in the water, which already sounds apocalyptical. The reasoning being, I don't know if this is sound science, but apparently during the boiling process, the microplastic particles kind of bond to the calcium deposits in the water. I don't know how this shit works, guys. I don't know how it gets out of the water anyway. But there's plastic in everything that we eat and drink. We're dropping bombs and aid packages to the same country. Both of those things are killing people. Like, it is so tragic that it's funny, and it's not funny at all. But it's just like gotten to the degree of absolute absurdity where none of this feels fucking real, and yet it is. I don't know if my Instagram is in the description, but my Instagram is thank9stars, the number 9. Every other word spelled normally. Thank 9 stars. But my Instagram isn't that important. You will live without it. I'm getting to the point of chopping this ginger where I'm just like, oh, you shouldn't have bought discount ginger. But then again, if I didn't buy it, somebody else would have, and they probably would be doing the same thing too. Alright, everybody else tell me about your week. It's your turn now to trauma dump. Also, good things welcome, I suppose, but I figured we get the trauma out of the way first and share that, and then heal ourselves with communal bonding over saving graces of good things. If there are good things to share, I hope there are. A little bit of bitter, a little bit of sweet. Listen, I'm living a blessed life right now, okay? The worst thing that I'm crying about is other people dying. The worst thing that I'm crying about is getting dumped. Like, my life could be so much worse. So I'm blessed. I don't really need the gracious support that you are giving me, but I appreciate it. But I mostly just wanted to sound it all out, because I feel like the less we talk about it, the more we retreat into our own corners, and the more we try to repress it because we think other people are repressing it, and I don't want us to repress this. I don't think it's good to repress this. I don't think it's healthy or humane to repress this. Jesus Christ. I have so much anger, in case that wasn't clear. So much anger. But I have just been crying. It doesn't feel like an angry cry, it just feels like a mournful cry. I think this week I've noticed 3 different tonalities in my cries. There is a more high-pitched cry. It feels a little more feminine and young in comparison to the low growling cries, which I feel like are a sort of existential human condition pain cry, that are more guttural and more animalistic and more creature-like. And then there's a sort of contained personal cry where I am recognizing how my personal grief and my personal pain ties into this more universal grief and pain. And in a way, if I just allow myself to feel all of these things, it's kind of amazing that I can discern so many different sorts of cryings within myself, so many different kinds of griefs. But there's a lot going on. I just want us to all take a moment and let ourselves feel it, because I think society has gotten to where it's gotten because we've been trained to not feel these feelings, and we think that it's actually courteous and normal to not feel these feelings, and I think it is really not good to not feel these feelings. Not just like personally not good, but like societally not good. So even if you feel helpless, I feel like we still need to feel all of these feelings. I feel like that might be the first part to figuring out what to do about this situation. I feel like people used to say, it could be better when they're asked how they're doing, and now my default is, it could be worse. It could be worse. Alright. Lots of ginger. Now we're going to put the chicken in there. I thrifted 2 old school Pyrex bowls There were 4 of them, but I only wanted 2, so I only got 2. Aaron actually came over today to give me some souvenirs from his recent trip to Portugal, where he brought back some canned fish and some egg yolk confectionery that I might eat another one of. I've already eaten 2, but we can eat another one. And I also thrifted this little mug. I've never seen this sort of mug before in this Chinese style. I thought it was fascinating. So I'm gonna clean that up a little bit and throw it in the dishwasher, and then we can gunk up our sink with lots of chicken juice. I like to rub things down with a little baking soda if I see gunkiness. Okay, so that made me happy. That was a little retail therapy and time well spent with friends. The bones I did not think to defrost ahead of time, so we're just going to give them a rough rinse and hope they split apart. Don't worry, I'll clean the counters afterwards, although we all know it doesn't matter. Nothing matters now, right? Nothing matters. Take it easy. Your friend told you that you don't look forward to anything, and you've been really trying to break that thought down. Tell us more. Clue us in. What are you thinking? Does your friend think we should look forward to anything? Like, where is that thought coming from? What exactly should we be looking forward to? Well, I think waking up can be a great thing daily. Depends, honestly. I think it honestly does depend. I'm not complaining at all. But I can imagine myself in some scenarios that are going on in the world right now where I don't know if waking up is a great thing, actually. I think about the first time that I ever experienced dysmenorrhea, which is a really, really, really painful period. And I remember thinking to myself in the throes of that physical pain, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. But I also remember very clearly saying to myself that if indeed this pain could not stop, I would rather die than exist in hours and hours of unending pain. So I think that experience really makes me think about the conditions that people are surviving right now. And, you know, even in lesser known cases of human rights violation and torturous, violent conditions, I think about that moment where I had that thought of it would be better to just die if I could not escape this pain. And I think it's really hard to hear that, but I think having gone through that level of physical pain and disability and feeling so frightened that I didn't know what was going on, I just feel like sometimes that level of physical torture can override this desire to survive, for sure. You know, to this day, I don't know if I have some sort of endometriosis or fibroid, or if I have, you know, asymptomatic PCOS in terms of those secondary symptoms where you have more body hair and you have overweight appearance. I don't know, but I also know that this world doesn't care about researching women's reproductive health. I know that we are just looked upon as baby factories, and all of the solves for women's health issues are geared towards sustaining your ability to have children and produce children, and it's not about bettering your quality of life as a woman. So with that in mind, the world's priorities are not conducive to living. They are conducive to producing and to dying. I think it's good that we have a balance of people who can acknowledge the positivity and also acknowledge the extreme amount of pain and suffering of existence, and the injustices of the pain and suffering that we have produced, induced, and continue to reproduce as a way to churn capital. So I appreciate all of you here, but I also think that we can't really persuade one another to think in a particular way or speak in a particular way, because we all live different experiences and we all have different tolerances and we all have different triggers and we all have different repressions. So I think we have to acknowledge the diversity of existences. It sucks right now for a lot of people, and I think more and more of us are actually recognizing that it sucks for a shit ton of people, and we are feeling it for the very first time, just how much it sucks for some people. So I have more ginger actually, and I think I should process them now because it's not great ginger. All of that ginger that I chopped plus all of the stuff here I got for $1. So I think maybe we should just make some ginger tea and process the rest of it and maybe freeze it. So that's what we'll do. I just wash it and I trim off the sketchy looking skins, and we'll boil it. Maybe we can make some gingery applesauce. How's that sound? Would you be into that? I also have some applesauce from Grandma. Maybe we can make applesauce cake with it later on in the week. I don't know, man. I'm just figuring out things to do. There is only so much paralysis that I can get stuck in before I become disabled in so many different ways. I also think maybe instead of ginger applesauce, we can make some ginger milk pudding. I have a lot of milk from Grandma, and I just made a huge batch of yogurt, and I can't eat yogurt that fast anymore. So that could be fun too, making some ginger milk pudding. I've also never had ginger milk pudding myself either. So we're gonna have it together. I'm gonna clean my pot with a little bit of baking soda. There are some burnt pieces. From previous cooking mishaps. And I'm also going to make a crepe batter for Grandma's breakfast tomorrow with the remaining egg that I have. So, that sounds good to me. I know, Penny. I don't think we need to really... I think we're just all hurting right now in different ways. So I appreciate you all being here, and I appreciate you all presenting your point of view. And I also know that none of us mean to make anyone else feel bad. We're all just coping as best as we can. I get it. Siobhan, what is punk positivity? I would love to hear more about what that is. I don't know if I know what that is. I think in the wake of my most recent relationship breakup, I've learned that different people have different levels of tolerance for emotional expression. So I'm trying to be mindful of everyone's limits. I know that I can be too negative for some people. I totally get that, and that's when you tap out of my content. But, you know, I think we just all have different realities, and we have to give ourselves what we need in the moment. Welcome to your first stream. I'm just slicing ginger and peeling them. You know, it's not very exciting, and I know you can't even see beyond the big pot probably, but I'm doing it. You'll just have to believe that I'm doing it. I think people are scared, you know? I get it. People are scared to hear these things because once you hear other people say it, it becomes reality, it becomes true. It validates your suffering, and some people don't want to validate their own suffering because they're worried that it's going to drag them even further down into deeper depths that they might not ever be able to emerge out of, because there are no easy solutions to how much our world is fucked. I get it, but I also feel like it would be dishonest to myself to not express what is very much reality right now for me, for a lot of us, right? So we all kind of pick and choose our own realities. Wow, that's scary. Grandma, for example, has not been able to accept my reality in a lot of ways. And, you know, that's what she's capable of and not capable of, and I have to work with it. So in a lot of ways, I'm learning how to work with different realities, which is very much what's happening right now with, like, the media we individually consume. Like me and my dad, not living the same reality regarding the information that we are getting about Palestine. He's reading Chinese translations of major media outlets about these news updates, and I'm getting social media feeds that are curated for me, aligned with people that I choose to follow. You know, like, it's weird. Our world has become really, really, really weird. It's become really, really segmented, and we all share the same environment, but we all live in our own little interpretation of it, because we're all scared. A lot of us are scared. I don't know what we're all scared of, but I think we're scared of death. I think we're all scared of themes related to death, even though it may not read as a direct fear of death, but I think fear drives a lot of how our society is structured. And I think, for me, the beginning of dismantling fear within myself is to allow myself to feel the things that seem scary. This, by the way, the spoon that I'm using is a Coons spoon. If you work in the restaurant industry, I think you would probably know what a Coons spoon is. I didn't until I got to my very first, like, restaurant job, and they gave us a 2-pager of toolkit needs we needed to bring on our first day. And the Coons spoon alone was like $30, and I was like, bro, you're paying us $10 an hour pre-tax, and you're asking us to bring in $30 spoons on the first day of work? But, you know, 10 years later, after my stint in food and restaurant work, I now have a Coons spoon, not because I bought it for myself, but because this was gifted to us as a part of a post-holiday employee gift box that was sent out to everyone who works at Burlap and Barrel. So, what a lovely place. I am grateful. Siobhan says, in a nutshell, hope punk positivity is maintaining the hope that things will get better in spite of the messiness and destruction and negativity around us, and actually doing the work. Yes. Do you all have an idea of what the work is right now for you? Have you been able to identify what the work can be for you in your life? I am so curious about this. I think maybe a lot of us are stuck in a sort of paralysis of even knowing what the work is. How do we move into the realm of hope with actual tools for change, I guess? Because right now I think a lot of us are overwhelmed with this feeling of we're showing up to marches, we're calling our reps, we're posting on social media, we're talking to friends, we're talking to family, we're talking to enemies, we're wheat pasting, we're, you know, swapping out ads in the subway with message about Palestine. Like, do those things bring hope, or do they bolster the feeling of futility over time? Because they don't seem to be bringing about change. I guess, is it a mindset, or is it an external material reality that we're aiming for? I think this is all up for discussion. I don't have answers. I'm very curious what everyone's thoughts are. I think right now my hope exists most vibrantly in conversation with others, in hearing about people's perspectives and their choices and their depression and hopelessness, all of it. A big part is voting with your dollar, not killing anything, just cleaning environment. I also wonder about this idea of privilege, right? Like feeling that we need to do things because we are more privileged. I don't disagree with that. But I think it's a really interesting topic to think about, like the guilt that comes with privilege versus realizing that you have resources, right? And choosing to prioritize your resources in a way that aligns with your values. And I think maybe the hardest part for a lot of people right now is actually prioritizing their values, because obviously you have values to self-care, you have values to community care, you have values to like friend and family care. And so how do you divide your resources? How do you divide your privilege up in a way that satisfies your values, all of them? How do you prioritize who deserves what with the given resources that you currently possess? I think it's a great conversation to have. I think it's something that we need to think through, talk about, digest, not in terms of a lens of shame, but rather in terms of a lens of strategy, right? Like, and it's kind of therapeutic too, because I don't think the self exists in isolation. I don't think a community exists in isolation within itself either. And it's like constantly redefining these terms of who do I care about? Who should I care about? What should I care about? I think these are great conversations to have. And I think ultimately, once you are able to answer the question of who should I care about and why, once you have that why settled, I think you have a lot of your answers. You might not have the methods of change, but I think you should have your answer in terms of hope. And remember, we don't all need to have the same answer, right? Just like our views on positivity and negativity and hope and reality, like, we can all choose differently. And I almost think we should choose differently, right? That is kind of the beauty of being alive. But I also think having this discussion in community with others generates a sort of affirmation of life and understanding. Because it's not a competition of who can be the best person ever. Or rather, I don't want it to be a competition of who is the best person ever. I want you to be able to figure out what it is that makes you happy. Because I think that is the first step to not repressing feelings. Acknowledge what will make you happy, get clear on that, and then choose to honor your values, honor yourself, and sometimes honoring yourself becomes the truest form of community care and love, like real, genuine love, not coming out of a place of shame. Not coming out of a place of fear, of not being good enough, of being bad, but actually honoring yourself and defining yourself. And you can constantly redefine yourself too. I think you might need to constantly redefine yourself because you don't actually stay the same person forever. And so maybe your values don't stay the same forever either. This is gonna be the most ginger I've ever consumed in my life. Okay, you guys see what you're getting yourself into? Should is a bad word and shouldn't be used. Like, again, how do we operate out of a place of love, care, and affirmation, and not out of a place of guilt and shame? Because, yes, I think guilt and shame are very valid feelings. They're very valid emotions. They are a moral compass for us to identify what we feel is wrong, because it's signaling to us that we're ignoring ourselves in a way. Guilt and shame come out of a place of feeling like you are ignoring values that are really, really, really important to you. But to operate out of a place of guilt and shame is to hold on to that absence of validation, the absence of knowing that you are here and present, and that you are good. Not good in terms of like moralistically good, but good in terms of just a net positive and absolute value of experience. I don't know. I'm still working on this myself, but I find that if I work out of a place of guilt and shame, I eventually burn out. It's not sustainable. It becomes very tiring and exhausting, and it could be a permanent burnout for some people too. It could be a lifelong permanent burnout. So I'm trying to figure out this too. How to toe the line. When does this stop being a moral compass, and when does that guilt and shame become an emotional compulsion? I don't know. I don't have these answers. That's why I go to therapy. That's why I watch YouTube videos about therapy and self-awareness and traumas and abandonment issues and, you know, attachment theory. I don't have these answers, but these are just things that I'm thinking through. If I sound like I know what I'm talking about, it's just me trying to make myself feel less weak. It doesn't mean that I'm speaking truth to any universal meaning. I am unfortunately not anyone's savior. I cannot even save myself. I'm gonna try to see if I can make a ginger pudding, but I don't actually know what I'm doing here. I'm winging it, completely and totally winging it, okay? I can't promise we're gonna have ginger pudding, but we have milk that I don't want to turn into yogurt, that I don't want to drink on its own, and we have a lot of ginger. So that's what's happening here. Ginger cinnamon cornmeal with sweetener cooked down is basically Indian pudding. Ooh, yum, Indian pudding. Well, thank you, Sweaty Prophet. I hope I am making someone's day better. That makes me feel better, too. Oh yeah, I'm not doing ginger pudding the proper way, guys. You're absolutely right. The ginger should be added to like 170-degree Fahrenheit milk. Yeah, but that's not what I'm making here. I'm just literally, I'm going to thicken this with cornstarch kind of pudding. Hi, KFC Bucket. Thank you, dear troll, for making an appearance tonight. There's a chemical reaction with like warm milk and ginger juice, basically. I don't know what the reaction is, but there is. There's supposed to be one. Yeah, I'll sweeten it with some sugar, I think. My hands are getting tired from grating ginger. Everyone judges the end. Yes, agreed. Ginger, nutmeg, and molasses. Interesting. Ooh! Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. But it's gone now. I'm not gonna fish it out because I'm lazy. Thank you, KFC Bucket. Keep those really sappy pickup lines coming. You are so needed tonight. Left hand is more tired, the grading hand. Yeah, come on, KFC Bucket. We know you can do better than that. Let's go. Up the ante. Wow. A masturbation joke. Well, I only go for lefties now. I'm, clamping down on the criteria of lovers I'm taking. So lefties get priority in the express lane. That's only a half joke, by the way. I have always wanted to date a lefty. I've just never been, in the presence of a left-handed man. Maybe we also put some orange zest in here. Also, my limes have turned into lemons. That must mean that they are not doing great. In fact, this one is very moldy. This is how bad my life is. I've allowed things to rot. Unacceptable, June. Actually unacceptable. I don't know how you just ate a whole pineapple. That sounds like my mouth would be falling out. Guys, my milk is curdling. Okay, well, this is clearly what happens when you put ginger and milk together. Now we know. Does anyone have a solve for this? The milk has curdled. Whoa. I was not expecting this to happen. What? Okay, somebody do some research and tell me how to save. How do we save this? Wow. Okay, this is cool, actually. This is a science experiment now. Ginger cheese. Ginger cheese? Okay, let's put some salt in. in the world? What in the world? Fascinating. All right, well, we'll have to see where life takes us, you know? That's not big enough. What a Friday night. What a Friday night. We're getting down on Friday night. Do we want to drink this way? Should we try to drink this way? See what it tastes like? I clearly did not think this through at all. I need a landing pad for this. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's nice. Ooh. It's gingery. It's like edging on creaminess and dairiness, but not quite. We should do this again, y'all. We should do this again. Mmm. Ginger cheese. I feel like this could make a really fun cake. Maybe like a cornbread. I remember when I used to work in restaurants, we had so much whey from making ricotta. I don't actually remember what we did with it. Whoa! Wait, masala chai? We should totally do that. What about a masala chai cake? Well, we're gonna taste some of the cheese left in here. Okay. It's quite nice, actually. This is my cookbook. I am the world's first YouTube cookbook. That's not true. There are so many YouTube cookbooks. I am the world's first nothing. You're in your 60s? I never would have guessed. For some reason, I thought you were my age. The way you've been chatting, the sentences that you construct, the way you respond, that's fascinating. See, guys, I literally don't know who any of you are. I don't know anyone. All right. It's 8:30, so I'm not gonna be making tea, but I will be adding some chai spice in here. We're just gonna stir it and see how it tastes, okay? Capiche? We'll give it some time to bloom. In the meantime, I have these limes. They are dying. I don't know what to do with my dying limes, but we should do something. I will also label the way. Today is March 8th. Way. Okay. That's cool. Interesting. This feels like a very healthy drink. All right. We have this ginger. I think I'm gonna fridge it for now. There's too much going on and I simply can't keep cooking because I'm so tired. But now that I have it, I can make ginger tea anytime I want. We could make lime ice cubes for sure, but that's not gonna be a lot of juice. Let's think about this a little bit. Is it too late to make a smoothie? Because It is too late to make a smoothie. All right, we're not gonna use both limes right now. We will just cut open a lime and we're gonna drink a little alcohol. Yes, we're gonna drink a little alcohol because I'm gonna log off soon and I'm gonna shower and I'm gonna get in bed and I'm gonna watch Love is Blind and I'm going to just let my brain rot a little bit in the opposite direction that it's been rotting in. Don't worry, we'll come back to it. I promise. Fuck Jean-Georges. Just give me some Jollibee. Oof, lime juice straight in the eyeball. Mm. Oh, that hurts a little bit. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. You can do this. You better be tipping fantastically for your delivery, or we will collectively come find you. Aaron came over and had some of this, and he really liked it, so we're gonna have some of this over lime. Just a little. Because it's strong. Hi, England. What are we gonna do with this cheese? I guess I'll just fridge it in the strainer for now, overnight. I think the whey will be great in smoothies. So that's what we're gonna do with it. Ooh. Yum. Quite good, actually. We might make a second drink. What do you guys want to talk about for the next 15 minutes? Any advice for someone who wants to change careers? I just graduated, feel like I made a huge mistake. You just graduated? What career are you in now? You have time? You just graduated. Yeah, if you're madly in love with me, that's a terminal illness. Many people have died after being in love with me. I have died after being in love with me. I don't recommend it. Get out while you can. I have consumed many chickens in my life. I would estimate probably 500. That's too much, probably. How many chickens do you think you've consumed? I might have eaten 500 chickens. I don't know. You're in mortuary sciences. It's so emotionally heavy. I don't know if I can mentally do it. Okay. So I didn't go to school for food, and I discovered after like almost 5 years in restaurants that like I was kidding myself and I shouldn't stay in restaurants anymore. But mortuary science, I'm assuming, is probably applicable to so many other job fields. So I wouldn't just feel like everything is a waste. I would try to consider maybe there are jobs that you didn't know existed before. Ooh. Guys, I think I'm getting drunk. Let's add a little bit of pomegranate juice. Let's add a little bit of blood pomegranate juice. And I say it's blood pomegranate juice because Pom is owned by the same company that owns California Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, you know the brand. And if you've listened to a previous live, you'd know that they've been lobbying the government for several years to go to war with Iran, apparently, because they don't want competition in the pistachio market. So know who is behind your favorite products. And even if you can't quit it, at least now you know. Hi, Trinidad. Okay, let's just say that I've been alive for almost 35 years now. 35 years. If I've eaten 350 chickens, that means that every year I've eaten 10 whole chickens. So I feel like the number is probably closer to 700. I think pomegranate goes well with lime and some sort of cream probably, or maybe like lemon and berries. Needs more lime. We are all committing a genocide right now, unfortunately. It doesn't taste like corn to me, no. I'm not picking up on it, you know, but... In case anyone's curious why I'm throwing my squeezed lime back in the fridge, this is something that I learned from my mom. If you put like cut citrus, spent citrus, citrus rinds, like orange, lemon, anything in the fridge, it kind of absorbs bad smells. I'm going to set a timer now for 3 hours for this stock, so I don't go to sleep burning the apartment building down. Can I ask a really egomaniac question? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to be my neighbor? Like within a 10-minute walk, so we can share food. I feel like this is me starting to mentally manifest my commune again. Nice. Yeah, sometimes pans go in the oven for sure, especially cast iron. I only put pans that are like fireproof, handle and all. Oh, now rate all of you? I don't know. I literally don't know who any of you are. It's really hard. But I do feel like Gary and Lando get along with me the most. I don't know if y'all are both gay, but I feel like gay people understand me more. They can tolerate me more, or maybe they just enjoy me more. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I had a date yesterday, and he was like, "You give off queer vibes," and I was like, "What kind of queer?" But I guess I give off queer vibes. I was talking to my friend Nez about it. You're not gay, but you are fabulous. Amazing. And I was like, Nez, do you think I'm bisexual? And she's like, definitely not bisexual, but you do have queer vibes. And I'm like, queer as in weird? I think that's the kind of queer I am. Just weird. This is perfect. I like drinks that make me squint. What restaurant did you go to and did he pay? He did pay. He insisted. I put my card down and he gave me my card back. I think that might have been the first time somebody handed my card back and like did not let me pay. So I was like, all right, bro, that's cool, thank you. I thought it was sweet. I think he's sweet. We went to a Thai restaurant in Elmhurst. I actually have some leftovers that I will eat some leafy wraps right now because I'm hungry. I actually ate some when Aaron was over, so there's not a lot left and it just looks like absolute trash right now, but this was like a pig's like ribs and blood noodle dish. It's still very good. I assure you it's good. It just looks like shit right now. But this is my favorite way to eat all leftovers now, is just with a farmer's market kale leaf, sometimes steamed, sometimes not. And I just grab the food. Ew. The thing is, I like paying because then I feel like less indebted, if that makes sense. Especially when I don't know you well. I feel like once we're dating, sure, whatever. Yes, I am meeting strangers on apps. That is the only way people date now, I feel like. I've actually gone on first dates with viewers before, but I think the dynamic of them knowing me and me not knowing them is just not a good start, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. Cause like they already know so much about me, you know? But why is that a bad thing, you think? Okay, I promised you this, so I'm gonna show you this. This is the egg yolk dessert that Aaron brought back. Ovos, moles de aviero. I don't know how to say it. It's Portuguese. So, but it's a traditional sweet. It's made with egg yolk, sugar, water, and wafers. It's basically a sugary egg yolk mixture coated, like encased in a wafer. I put it in a Bon Maman jar because the packaging was not airtight. And they come in different shapes. Like there's a barrel shape, there's a seashell shape. I don't know why. We picked this shape. And I actually really like dipping it into some cinnamon. Which, by the way, guys, there is a recall on cinnamon. Some cinnamon have been found to have elevated levels of lead. Please Google it. Please look up the cinnamon you have in your cupboards. Maybe stop eating those brands that have been recalled. I'm not trying to make you buy burlap and barrel cinnamon, but we definitely don't have extremely high levels of lead in ours. So just FYI, FDA is doing recalls right now because of elevated levels of lead in cinnamon. Just check up on your brands at home. It first was discovered when these two parents found out that their children had elevated levels of lead in their blood test, and they were like, what the fuck? And then they tested themselves, the grown-ups tested themselves, and their blood levels did not have elevated lead. The parents were like, okay, what are the kids eating that we're not eating? And it was applesauce. It was cinnamon flavored applesauce. And then they submitted it to the FDA or whoever is in charge of doing these tests, and they did a test, and they were like, yeah, there's a shit ton of lead in this. And then they traced it to the cinnamon sourcers. So now they're doing a wider recall on certain brands of cinnamon. So just FYI. FYI. It is really sweet, it is really creamy, and as you saw, there's like a pull to it. There's a little bit of a stretchy dew to it. So, it's delicious with cinnamon. I've matched with non-binary people. I have not yet gone on a date with a non-binary person. I am going to leave Hinge very soon. I have 2 more dates that have been scheduled, and I'm gonna hop off. And the last date that I have is with someone who identifies as queer, but they don't have their gender listed. I don't even say they're non-binary, they just don't have their gender listed. The FDA did not know this because they don't actually test all of the foods that come through. They don't have the funds, they're under-resourced. We're fueling cops and not any of the actual, services that we need to keep us healthy. Because keeping people healthy doesn't make money. So they have to keep the services going that actually cause destruction so that they can then spin services to fix the problems they made. That's the problem with capitalism. When the system exists only for the propagation of capital, humans become an ingredient, not those capital serves. So, is Hinge worth it? It depends on how much trauma you want to go through. My first situationship made me cry for a couple of weeks and made me think about it for several months. And the whole interaction itself lasted 3 months. And I've been crying about this relationship that I just got out of every day for the past 6 weeks. So, if you're up to learning about yourself and your flaws and miscommunication and misunderstanding and feeling absolute despair about finding someone who is, a fit for you, yeah, girl, go on Hinge. Highly recommend. It's really fun too, I have made friends. I've made friends that got me involved in more political actions. I've met friends who do Wordle with me now, and I've met friends who are very big food lovers, so we share food spots sometimes, and just random connections. This is the way of the world now. This is how you meet people, so... It's not that I'm not excited about the remaining dates. I think I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted. Guys, I've gone on, if you don't count 2 of the dates that were more platonic in intention, I have gone on 12 first dates. I'm tired. But I enjoyed them all. I enjoy meeting people. Not all of them are very, meshy dates. I didn't really vibe, as the kids say, with all of them, but I still enjoy meeting people and learning about them. So it's just how much you want to put in terms of effort. What's Boo? I've never heard of Boo. What's their specialty? How do they advertise themselves? Priscilla, you don't know though. You could meet the love of your life and be absolutely ecstatically in love and have that be your forever person. You just don't know. Sometimes it's not them. Sometimes it is me. Some people are just not meant to be in a relationship, and I look at my dad and I look at my mom and I'm like, that's what I'm working with. Okay, good to know. And now I'm looking at my grandma and I'm like, that genetic is in me? Of course. Everything makes more sense now. I do like my little half shot of alcohol every night though. It makes me feel warm inside. Alrighty guys, I have really fully enjoyed being here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and find some people that you love, or some pets that you love, or some shows that you love, or some food that you love, and just experience some love in whatever form it comes in. And if you can, that precious little thing called self-love, whatever it is, when you find it, let me know what it is, and I will try to dig for it too. Okay. Be well, friends.